Welcome back, Sethbling here. In front of me I've got what I like to call my tamper-proof bomb. It's a really high-tech pranking technology, and the way it works is it's just a big box, and if you break any of this wool, TNT will go off. It'll all explode, and put more TNT in there. I only had a little bit, only about 4. And yeah, it's any single wool on this entire box. Here's another example, and that'll explode, and then there's another one on the back, top, whatever. Any single piece of wool. So it's sort of a fun little prank that you can, if you drop one of these in the middle of your friend's castle or something. Obviously, it requires TNT to be enabled on the server. Here's what it looks like without any of the wool. And it's basically just a bunch of pistons. And there's some TNT in there and a redstone torch. The important thing about these pistons is that they are all extended, even though they're not receiving any power. Now this uses the same glitch, or bug, or feature, whatever you want to call it, that allows for block up detectors. And Mojang has officially said that they're not planning on removing this feature from the game, so you should be pretty safe using it. And the idea is that the fact that they're not receiving power means that whenever any of these pistons receives a block update of any kind, they will retract, and that'll sort of cause a cascade of retracting pistons all across this. And that'll cause one of the sticky pistons in here to bring a piece of TNT right next to this torch, which causes the TNT to explode. So that's sort of what's going on, and I will show you how to build this. It's a bit complicated, but I'll take you through it step by step, going from simple to complicated, and hopefully you'll understand how to build it yourself. Although try not to be too malicious with this. But here we go. So the first thing that I'll explain is how to build a wall, just a single wall of these sort of extended pistons that aren't receiving any power. So the first thing you need to do is place your pistons down, and above every piston you'll need some redstone, and make sure that it extends one past the end of the line. This is very important for reasons that I'll explain later. So we'll add a torch, and that will cause the pistons to get extended. And so the next thing we're going to do is add a torch up here, and I'm going to start moving the redstone line up one at a time. So now it's up higher. I'm going to remove this block, and this piston didn't retract because it's still receiving power from right here. This is part of the piston quasi-connectivity bug that allows for block update detectors. So now it's receiving power from both here and here. Of course, if I break either of these, it's not actually going to send an update to this. So this piston can't really be updated by removing either of these blocks. So I'm going to keep going down the line and doing the same thing. I remove this. This piston's receiving power from here. This one's receiving power from here. So I'm slowly moving the line up, and I'm moving it to a place where the blocks won't affect the pistons down here anymore. So we'll keep going. Remember, it's one past the end of the pistons, and this is no longer necessary. So now I could remove any of these and it wouldn't affect these pistons. But I'm not going to do that yet. Instead, I'm going to add the next line of pistons. And I'm going to do the exact same thing in order to move the row up by one. And you'll notice that this piston is now not receiving any power, but the reason it didn't retract is because I didn't provide it a block update. Nothing moved near it while it was losing power. So it's sort of one of the active block update detectors in this wall. And I'm just going to keep going, and we can keep doing this. I can add a third row, and the same thing is going to keep happening. Oops. Going to keep happening, and doing this, we can make the wall arbitrarily tall. This technique obviously only works for about 13 block wide walls, but you could extend it to work for wider walls pretty easily. And now I can actually just remove all of these because they aren't providing any block updates to these. And now we have a wall of pistons that are all in the extended state even though they're not receiving any power. And so now a single block update will cause all of them to retract simultaneously. So that is how you build a single wall. So we're going to use the same principle to build an entire bomb. I'm going to do this sort of one step at a time. So first you need to lay down a 6x4 base, and the active pistons in the bomb are going to form a 6x6x4 rectangular prism, whatever, and it's going to be 6 tall, 4 wide, 6 long. So now I want to start putting in all the pistons. Oops, I made it 5 wide. I'm going to start putting in all the pistons that will form the floor of the bomb. And I'm going to start doing the exact same thing that I did for the wall, but I'm going to do it for all the lines at the same time. And this will take some time. It does take a while to construct this bomb. Obviously, I'm in creative mode, so it's going to be even faster for me than it would be if you were trying to do it in survival. But I'm just trying to show you how to do it, and you can get a bit faster with practice, but it will take a while. So I'm going to provide power to all of these pistons. They're going to be extended, and now they form a solid 6x4 grid on the floor that are extended pistons. And I'm going to do exactly what I showed you with the wall. I'm going to move the redstone line up by 1 for each of these rows of pistons. And it'll take a while, and I'll just speed this up a little bit. Okay, so now we've got our first row down, and we've got the wire moved up by 1. We're going to build a little sort of wall around it. So there's one side of the wall, there's the other side, and then just to complete the wall all the way around, we'll put pistons on the ends. And so now we've sort of got just a 6x4 wall, and the middle area is empty. Now we do have another piston here, so at this point I'm going to have to add in another line of this redstone so that we can move the redstone line up as we're going. But we're going to repeat this same process again, so I will speed that up as well. Alright, we've moved up the line 1 higher. The next row is going to look exactly the same, so I can again do that in a bit of a fast motion so that you don't have to wait around. But it's going to look exactly the same. It'll have, those are the walls, and then those are the other walls, and I'll move it up. Alright, so there are the bottom 3 rows. The next row is going to be a little bit different, and this is going to have our sticky piston that's going to cause the block update. Sorry, this is going to cause the TNT to go off. So first I'll add in a wall here, 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 so same sort of thing here, but so then I'm going to have my sticky piston facing in towards the middle from here. And I'm sort of going to fill in the rest of my wall around it. It's another piston facing there. And I'm going to have to be careful about when I actually add the TNT. This one needs to be a little bit different. Put that facing that way. Oh, I'm trapped. Yeah, so you may want to actually check the link in the download to actually examine the specific layout. But we've got the wall all the way around now, and we've got a sticky piston facing in the middle, and we're also going to need a a redstone torch that's going to cause the actual detonation of the TNT. So that's going to need to, the redstone torch is going to need to be right next to the position where the sticky piston retracts. And notice that this redstone torch is not powering any piston. That's important because we want the pistons to all be block up detectors. So that redstone torch will be right where the TNT is going to be when the piston retracts. And so now it's business as usual. We're going to move up the redstone line again. So let me do that. Alright, I've moved out the redstone line. Now it's time to actually add in some TNT. This should not cause any block updates because it's going to be next to only pistons that are powered from up above. So it's going to right on the sticky piston, and it's good. Didn't cause any block updates. That's pretty crucial. That's pretty easy to get wrong too. So next we're going to add another layer of wall pistons, and then there's going to be one more layer for the ceiling. So that's going to look just like the rest of the wall layers. Although we are going to add some more TNT in here for extra explosive power. And that, like that. That's the wall. And I'm going to add in some more TNT. But I need to make sure that it's not anywhere that's next to that that torch. But this won't cause a block update because these pistons are being powered. So I can't put it next to the torch, but I can put it above. That should be fine. And so there's 3 extra pieces. Good enough for my purposes. And I'll just move up the redstone line again. So let me speed this up. Okay, so now we're just ready to add in the ceiling, which is going to look exactly like the floor. It's just going to have those 3 rows of extended pistons like this. So need to add those in. I'm cheating a little bit because I have extra reach maybe, but ooh, can I even get out? Somehow I got in here. I'm not sure. Okay, and then just like this. And we'll move up. Oops, didn't mean to do that. We'll move up the wires one more time, and then we can just remove the wires. So let me do that. All right. So now all of the redstone that's powering these pistons is not connected in a way that's going to update the pistons. So I can actually just remove all of these wires now, and it shouldn't affect anything. Of course, if you were doing this somewhere where you wanted, somewhere in your friend's base or whatever as a prank, you would want to include the yellow or whatever box that you want around it. I didn't do that just so that you could actually still see everything, but it would be pretty easy to do it. Just leave the residue around it. So this is it. If any of these pistons gets updated, it's going to cause an explosion. This is very, very difficult to defuse. You basically have to reverse the process that we just went through, and that would but that would take quite a while, and you'd have to know exactly how the bomb was set up to do that. Now, if you don't put a skin on, of course, somebody could just remove the TNT that would actually cause the detonation, and then even if all the pistons retracted, it wouldn't cause an explosion. So you really do need a skin covering this whole thing in order for it to really be an effective bomb. But that's how it's done, and so a single update here will cause the explosion. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.